Those cheery realpolitik dudes who crunch the numbers and argue that climate change will create only a 20% reduction in GDP anyway, most of which will be absorbed by Africa, that collection of shithole countries the ex-American president spoke of so warmly. And a few of these types work on Tufton Street, no doubt. But I don't think they're widespread in the general population. It's my sense that most street-level climate denial is actually sincere. Because the truth really is too terrible to contemplate. Many mornings I wake up in a state of denial myself. I understand why so many people would want to get out from both the threat of extinction and the intolerable idea that we fashioned this bleak future for ourselves, collectively, with our own grubby human hands, grasping our little plastic water bottles. Who wouldn't want to deny that? But here in Tufton Street, as I say, you don't find a lot of sincere deniers, nor too many hate-filled sociopaths. Tufton Street is the home of sensible, clear-eyed, common-sense, fiscal conservatives. The kind of people with 4 kids in 40 grand a term schools, who hope to move from Islington up to Notting Hill, and have got used to a Caribbean break, both in February and April, perhaps also at Christmas, and who in a few years dream of seeing their name over the door in some wing of their old college, and even, who knows, one day to have some kind of sailing yacht of the medium size. Not as large as billionaire dreams, these, but still far from the narrow economic vision of your common or garden MP, constrained as they are by a relatively piddling salary. Tufton Street people have bigger dreams, somewhere between a banker's dreams and Rishi Sunak's, let's say. And what is very inconvenient to their dreams is all this boring climate hysteria, all these annoying lefty journalists banging on about sea levels, all these scientists repeating inconvenient facts, all these culturally Marxist actors and woke writers speechifying as if they stand on some kind of moral high ground and don't ever get on a plane or buy a plastic water bottle. But most annoying and existentially threatening of all are all you young people in the streets, holding up melodramatic signs about your future and the end of the world. Because some of the men and women of Tufton Street have children of their own, and they really don't want them doing the math and then side-eyeing their parents as if they were the bad guys. One thing novelists know is that nobody really thinks of themselves as the bad guy, least of all the pragmatist. He's always just doing what anyone reasonable would do, if they were in his shoes. He's merely trying to keep his family in the style to which they've grown accustomed. He's only hoping to make a little hay while the sun shines. Over the years, such seemingly reasonable people have made fortunes for their families from forced labour, the indentured peasantry, iron and coal workers, sweatshop cotton, cobalt mined by children, and why should that gravy train stop now for the residents of Tufton Street? Just as the young can hardly believe their youth must coincide with the threat of extinction, so the lobbyists of Tufton Street are deeply aggravated to discover their plans to double their portfolio are going to be threatened by a load of cultural Marxists moaning about the temperature and the sea and extreme weather events. It's hard enough to fight the kind of sincere denial that rises in so many hearts. It's hard enough to combat ideologues and sociopaths. But what it makes it all immeasurably harder is when a group of greedy, deceitful, contemptuous, cynical, fiscal conservatives with their eye on the main chance decide to flood and manipulate a political system with lobbyist money to secure their own livelihoods in the full knowledge that they do so at the cost of the livelihoods and actual lives of millions of people. Evil is not a word I use often or lightly, but I believe the kind of pragmatism practiced on this street falls within that category. No one is in denial on Tufton Street. Quite the opposite. They know the science is real. They know whose money they're taking. They're not lying to themselves. They're lying to us via elected officials like Craig McKinley, and they must be stopped. Thank you.
Thank you, Zadie. Thank you. I don't know about you, but her words made me shiver.